Greetings, Earthlings of YouTube. It's your buddy Chopping On coming at you another episode of Chop Talk brought to you by DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things DFS, all sports included. You can see the tabs right up here, all the content, tools, and coaching to make your DFS game the best it can be. Yeah, I don't talk perfectly. I don't care. I'm not a professional studio guy. I'm just a tout out here in YouTube talking to you to make you a better DFS player and hoping you go down to the comments section, click the link DFSArmy.com, use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, and become a VIP today. We have three different options for you. We've got a free option if you qualify for that. We've got a light option, which is tools only. And then we've got a VIP version, which opens up all the Slack, all the coaching, all of the interaction with all the experts on a daily basis, 24/7. Teach you, dig into your game, plug the leaks, teach you to become a better player. Our goal number one is to stop redepositing. Then we'll talk about being profitable. Then we'll talk about turning Joes into pros, because that's what we do inside DFS Army. But you can't do it without being a VIP. You can get access to the tools, but you don't have anybody to teach you how to use the tools. So you're going to have to be a VIP anyway. Let's jump in today and let's talk a little bit about baseball. That's what we do. We're going to run through the process over and over and over again. And I don't do this too often, but I want to run through yesterday's Chop Talk or Chin Music. Chop Talk, Chin Music, it's all the same damn thing. And I want to go through and show you what happened, because I didn't do crap. I had some other VIPs do pretty well, and I didn't. I mixed and matched a couple of bad offenses and whatever. It is what it is. Variance comes and goes. And if you stay on the same process over and over and over again, it's really only a matter of time before you have some good days and start piecing some stuff together. Maybe my good days were April, May, and June this year, because July was okay after a couple of big wins, but the overall month really sucked, had a lot more losing than winning. August has been pretty bad too, outside of, I think, one night in August. So, I'm probably not breaking even in August, but I broke even a little better in July, and then April, May, and June were just monster months for me. So if that's, and I had a reverse year like that a few years ago, I literally lost April, May, June, July, 2 weeks or 3 weeks into August, still losing. You talk about a frustrated individual. I couldn't catch a damn thing all year long. Wasn't even sniffing breaking even. Was questioning my own existence. And then, bam, last week and a half of August hit, GPP after GPP. Whack, 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 whack. I got on a hot streak like you never saw, repaired all that damage, and finished up for the year by a little bit, which is insane to think about. But this variance is so serious in this game, up and down, up and down, up and down, with a lot of ups and a lot of long downs, that a lot of people can't handle it, and a lot of people don't manage their bankroll properly to handle it, and that can really beat your soul down. But that's what the coaching is there for. That's what we're there to remind you all the time inside our VIP Slack channels, is that it's okay. We're all going through the same stuff. We're all, sometimes it's more up than down, sometimes it's more down than up, and sometimes it takes all year long to get your hot streak, and sometimes, I knew a guy, Oyster Dude has been a VIP for, 3 years, 4 years now, hit 100 grand GPP a few weeks ago after trying for 3 years. Guys, you don't understand the small edge we're working on and the inherent luck on a day-to-day basis in these games, and how long the long run really is. Maybe it's my poker background, I don't know, but it's one of those things that I'm constantly reminding people. It's okay. You can play this for a couple of years and not know if you're beating the game or not. You just don't know. You try to do the best you can. You plug in with the best tools and the best research that you possibly can. And you roll a dice and you take your chances. A lot of us can grind it up. Some of us can break even. Some of us, it's just a hobby. It doesn't really matter. Whatever suits your bill, we can handle it inside DFS Army. Now, before I get too off track, I just wanted to show you some of this pitching stuff. Paxton, Verlander, whatever. We identified Verlander as the chalk. That was pretty easy. Paxton was my lead dog. What are you going to do when the guy gets hurt in the first inning? That's why you don't run him in all 8 of your lineups. You run him in maybe 5 or 6 and then offset with a couple of lineups just in case. I ran a lot of Verlander last night. That helped. My bats stunk. That did not help. The lineup that I had with Paxton was an oh well, because I was playing more of the smaller slates, the express slate, 5-game slate, instead of the main or the main or the after hours. Didn't play either one of those. Next tier had Jay Happ in it. He did okay. And then we scroll down here. What I really wanted to show you was the call. Hope you played it, because last night Atlanta did fine. We knew that was going to happen. We knew Cleveland was going to be chalky. We knew some of these offenses, Boston let us down a little bit. We knew these offenses were in good spots. Who played Miami? And did anybody take me up on that? I told you that the opposing pitcher gave up bad, numbers to both sides of the plate, and that actually put Miami in a GPP type of spot, massive, large GPP. Boom. They went off for what, 6 or 7 runs. You don't get that too often out of Miami. That was actually not a bad call, and you'd have been all alone had you had, Miami and Cleveland, and you could have afforded it because with Verlander, with some of the Detroit and Cleveland bat or Miami bats, you could have afforded quite a bit of stuff. It's neat little combinations. Baltimore did well, so we had a good night in chin music last night. Overall, if you ended up on the right offenses, So when we dive in today, I'll knock this slate out super quick for you. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about starting pitchers. We're going to sort by K percentage. Nobody that's too massive on the scale. Garrett Cole, Velasquez, whatever, Pena, Eovaldi, these guys all jump to the top. Then we get into a bunch of mediocrity. So I'm going to start looking for price gaps. I'm going to look for Cole priced up on DK. That's a good sign. I'm going to look for Eovaldi priced up on DK. That's a good sign. Look at these other guys priced down or about the same. Velasquez priced down because he's facing Boston, no doubt. Dylan Bundy priced down. Tyler Anderson priced up is a little intriguing. A little bit intriguing. And then I come all the way down here. Zach Wheeler, what is he doing at this price range? I just don't understand that. I haven't seen anything on him that's really caught my eye. Granted, I haven't paid a ton of attention, but $10,000 up there with Garrett Cole? I don't think so. It's not something that I would be taking my chances on, especially with Baltimore running like they're running. I come all the way down here to Kevin the Gas Can Gaussman. This dude's priced up. He's playing for Atlanta. We pick on Miami. He's in a pretty good spot tonight. So when I kick over to the Chin Music tab and show you how the price and the Vegas odds and the K-score all line up, I'm looking at Garrett Cole, 10-4 good buddy, 10,400 on price, 200 Vegas odds, 513 K-score. You're not going to beat it. He's expensive, but you're not going to beat it. If you drop down a little bit, Velasquez underdog, Pena underdog. You'd be going for K-score only. Velasquez is a bad K-score because Boston just doesn't strike out. 500 on the K-score is pretty good for Pena, but I would double check the 6,000, make sure he's got 5 or 6 has a chance to get you that quality start. Might not be going deep into games. Definitely double check that, but picking on San Diego is not terrible. The 83 DFSA grade is a good sign. Drop down to Eovaldi, probably would be my second choice off of Cole at this point because he's got the favorite coming out of Vegas. He's got a 500-ish K-score, 78, not terrible. We're picking on Philly, not terrible. Eovaldi's playable. If you want to save $2,000, Eovaldi's playable. Come all the way down here to Gas Can. Kevin Gaussman, 7,200. Minus 220, you're going to need this. But if you want to gamble on the win and the quality start, it's there for you tonight. The 440 is not impressive, but the 92 is. So we've got a few conflicting indicators here. I would say Gas Can is a GPP pick, but I would say if you want to run cheap bats and run him down in some 100-man leagues, 20-man leagues, things like that, not the worst option. It isn't just bat crap crazy. Running on Fanduel, running at Brett Kennedy last night was bat crap crazy. But running somebody like Gas Can over here, on Fanduel isn't the worst. He's got big Vegas support. Atlanta's running hot. He's facing Miami, who's typically pretty weak, and he's got a big DFSA grade. Moderate K-score to maybe on the low side. So I wouldn't be expecting some 40-point performance out of him. What I would be expecting is that he's in line for the win and the quality start, and that's 10 free points to you. But those are very risky points. K-score is a lot more predictive. But I will have him in a couple of lineups tonight. I'm not going to talk him up and then not play him a little bit. So I'm mostly just going to be running Cole everywhere. 10-4 is not that cost prohibitive. But so there's not a lot of need to dip into these guys. But if I really want to charge up some bats and maybe do a Boston-Cleveland stack or a New York-Cleveland stack or something like that, just for funsies, I'll throw the Gas Can in there and hope to strike lightning. When I come back to the research station, what I'm looking at again is we're going to go attacking pitchers. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this and sort it. I don't care. Ascending, descending, doesn't matter. Get the pink up to one side or the other. And then work with it from there. So bunch them all together down here at the bottom. Come up to about 45 to maybe Jake Furia. New York, Tampa, LA, Boston, Cleveland, St. Louis. Those are your offenses on the main that get the first star. They check the first box. Remember, we come over to the Vegas section next. Opposing runs, sort by descending, and we're looking at really only 2 offenses up here. 4.5 runs isn't special. Now, one thing I would do is I'd look at the my bookie stuff on our website, and I would, the beat the bookie stuff. I'd click that link and I'd go over there. That's third piece to the puzzle. It's actually a pretty good idea. You can follow all the late line movement, the sharp money betting, and things like that with that subscription to that service over there. You'd tell them Chop sent you, CHOP. Use slap that little REF, /REF/3 at the end of your link. Boom, get on in over there and start using line movement and sharp betting to determine. If you see some of these guys at 4.5 start jumping to 4.8, 4.9, they're going to probably play to the over. That offense would become a little bit more of a green light for me. But for now, I'm looking pretty much at these top 2, maybe the top 4. I mean, at 4.6, 4.5 is not a big difference. But these are generally who I'm looking at. So Cleveland and Atlanta, maybe some LA, St. Louis, Boston, whatever. Those guys get the second star on the day, or the second box check. And then we scroll over here to the WOBA, and we sort by descending here, and we pull the pinks to the top again, and we're looking for anything above about here that's pink. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this middle section right in here, from about Hellickson to about the gas can. Those are the guys. So, gas can's not safe. We should know that. Miami got on, if they run back-to-back nights, gas can's going to get lit up. It's going to hurt. I'm going off of the DK price increase here to think that it might be a decent night. But Miami's playable. Cleveland, Toronto, San Diego, and St. Louis once again. These are your pitchers of record. So your 3-star offenses become Cleveland and St. Louis. Your 2-star offenses become LA, Atlanta, the Dodgers, Atlanta, New York, and Boston. Now, New York and Boston are really 1-star offenses, but come on, it's New York and Boston. But they're in the same category right now as a San Diego Padres and a Toronto and maybe a Miami, in that they're only a 1-star. But, I mean, come on. It's New York and Boston. So when I go to the Trends tab, and I do what I always do, go to L7 WOBA, sort it by 350 or greater. You click this little category right here. You click the number filters. You go to greater than. You type in the 350, you punch OK, kicks out all the trash, and leaves you with more or less playable people that are running fairly hot over the last week. Once again, over 400 is great. Between 350 and 400 is used to kind of complete stacks. It's not anything you can really count on. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The over 400s, though, if you only sort by that, you will miss some other plays. You'll only get a bunch of one-offs and 2-man stacks on teams. You're going to need to include that, down to 360, 350, something like that, to get that third or fourth guy in some of those teams. So, and I'll show you what I mean when we go by the Cleveland stack. Boom, Ramirez, Brantley, Cabrera, Kipnis. It's a 4-man stack. But look, if I sorted it by 400, I'd only get a one-off out of Ramirez. The others wouldn't show up on the list. And Brantley's hitting the ball just fine. Melky Cabrera's ascending off his 2-week numbers. So you want to pick up on these things, and you want to be able to incorporate them in what you're doing. When I go to St. Louis, everybody. I mean, hell, if you could, roster Brooks Koepka and Tiger Woods. They were just here last week. Maybe they're hanging around at the ballpark and they want to come swing at some fastballs. Everybody's playable in St. Louis right now. Carpenter, DeYoung, Martinez, Molina, Jerko, Wong, Bader. These other guys are spot starters, but they show up on the list. And a lot of these guys are over 400. The one you don't see is Marcell Ozuna. He's not too far below this list, but he ain't hitting the ball really well right now. I wouldn't be using him. I'd be using anybody but him. Run into the LA Dodgers. Turner, Bellinger, Muncy. That's all we could find, those 3 guys. Everybody else is below 350. Now, what I will put a little caveat in here, if you want to run a big GPP thing, like last night we said Miami, what I would do today, and again, these are long shots, man. This is like a blind man covering his eyes and throwing a dart, with his pet dog or something. I don't know. That made no sense whatsoever. But you get what I'm saying. It was just like throwing the dart of all darts. Maybe the blind man covers his eyes and he's slamming a pitcher of beer with one hand and then takes his left hand and throws the dart. Maybe that's a little better analogy to describe how long a shot this really is. But the narrative last night of the benches clearing in LA and San Francisco not really liking each other all that much. You might throw a Puig in there. I don't care if he's on the chart or not. Sometimes that stuff in GPPs is playable. Those little theories, little hunches, little narratives. Hey, it's his birthday today. Hey, it's his bobblehead day today. That type of stuff, Sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't. Whatever floats your boat. But these are the three I'd be building my core stacks around. I go to Atlanta. Anybody heard of that Acuna guy? Damn, that dude is on fire. Freeman, Markakis, Albies, of course, Acuna, Flowers, Camargo, Culberson. Hey, they're all swinging hot bats. Look at them, all over 400, except for poor little Ozzy Albies, who's not that unrespectable at 375. You know? Usually, if I scroll over and show you hard contact here, I expect this to be pretty big. No, not too bad. 40s and a 60 out of Acuna. Yeah, I would hope he's hitting the ball hard. He's hitting everything out of the damn yard. He's peppering the Masters down there in Augusta with his baseballs. I mean, that is if they haven't gone over that and landed in South Beach right about now. New York Yankees. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There you are. Andujar, Stanton, Hicks, Gregorius, Romine. Again, all swinging hot bats. Round off with Boston. JD Martinez and Betts just live on this list. I mean, if they're not $6,000 players, I don't know who is. They just live on this list. Jackie Bradley Jr., Bogarts, Pierce, Holt, if he gets the start. Holt's been getting some starts. 450 WOBA. You know, if you try to play him tonight, you might be disappointed. But if you go back to him tomorrow night and go back to him the next night, you're going to start scooping this 456 WOBA for all of $2,400. You know, run him and Bradley Jr. down there at the bottom of the lineup. A little mini stack. Get yourself a little Boston exposure. You're getting a 474 and a 456. And if you scroll over just a smidge, you're getting a 270 and a 250 ISO. Anything over 200 is great. They're hitting for power. They may not be hitting them all out of the yard, but they're hitting doubles, they're hitting gaps. Cheap, cheap, cheap mini stack right there for you. That's in a good spot tonight. Velasquez has given up both-handedness. You know, both lefties and righties struggles a little bit. Boston's in a good spot. Boston's rolling pretty good. All their WOBAs are huge. Their prices are huge except for these two. So if they're in the lineup, I'd throw them in there. And then I'd run off the New York or Cleveland and go 3-3-2. Maybe 3 Cleveland, 3 New York, 2 Boston guys with gas can. Hope to catch fire. Not a bad strategy. These are the types of things we'll talk about all day long inside DFS Army. This is the kind of information that you're going to get. I can only share so much with you out here. Inside our coaching channels, I can talk a lot more with you and deal with a lot more people one-on-one. Lately, been getting a lot of people that have said that the game's turned around because of it. So once again, go down to the comment section, become a VIP. Don't just become a tools-only guy. Become a VIP. You need the coaching. You need the slack. You need to learn how to use the tools. Use the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. Come back and see me tomorrow. We'll do this again. This is for the main slate, not the early slate. For the early slate, you're on your own. I got a lot of other stuff that I got to do today, and a lot of it revolves around coaching. So come and see me. We'll talk to you tomorrow.